we need to jump into the money pit with the first marijuana company to launch on the Nasdaq. It's called Cronos. It only operates where pot is legal, and the chief executive is with me, Cronos CEO Michael Gorenstein. So you don't operate in the United States, to be clear.
Correct. Do not operate in the United States.
Canada?
Canada, Germany, Australia, Israel, and expanding across the globe.
And you are operating, you are selling, distributing, growing medicinal marijuana.
Correct.
And is that by design? Obviously, do you wish to move into recreational marijuana when the time is right?
Well, when the time is right, yes, but we're not going to leave the medicinal cannabis market behind. And, you know, if there is a limited amount of supply, which there is today, there's a shortage, we want to make sure we're taking care of patients first. But this is a real medicine. And when you look at what's going on across the globe, it's important to make sure we're able to get that to patients.
Is there we'll come to the financial side in a second, but is there a difference in the way you handle medicinal marijuana that has to be very specific and very exact in its amount of strength and all of these things, and somebody rolling a joint on a Saturday night?
Well, you know, we always want to make sure, no matter who the end user or what they're using, that it's always done extremely responsibly and safe. So consistency is a focus of ours, and that goes into it no matter who it goes to.
How difficult was it to get Nasdaq to take you on?
No, well, I think just like any other company, it's always difficult. It's about governance.
No. No, with respect, I disagree with you. Every other company isn't launching on an exchange where the actual core product is illegal by the federal government.
You know, I would say it's not harder or easier than any other Nasdaq listing I've ever done.
Really? So, but did it really all come down to issues of the financials, the EPSs, all of those issues?
I think, you know, it's such a massive growth industry, 200 billion in revenue. What it came down to was really showing responsibility, governance. There's a lot of questions about this industry, and, you know, as it advances forward, making sure that you've got responsible groups that you're listing.
Are you worried, for example, about Jeff Sessions and the Attorney General in the US? Even though you don't trade here, you are now based on a US market and regulated by the SEC.
Sure, so we've done a lot of work on this from a legal perspective, and we don't see any risk. There are a number of US companies. In fact, you take any major company that has manufacturing in China, you're violating wage laws in the US, but in the countries where they operate, they're legal. So everything we do is compliant in any country.
Yeah, but there's always this issue with cannabis countries or marijuana companies. There's always this issue that, for example, the banking ability, you know, the ability to suddenly find yourself sequestered or to be seized by the federal government on that. You don't do business in the United States, but you're listed on a US stock market.
Right, we're still based out of Canada. We've actually never done a cash transaction in our history.
You see, that's the whole point. That's exactly the point. You have to walk this very, very narrow line between ensuring you do not suddenly fall foul of the federal government here.
Oh, absolutely. And that's something, my background, I started off as a corporate lawyer. So everything we do is rooted in compliance. You know, part of the reason we ended up in Canada, I grew up in the US, but we wanted to make sure we were fully compliant, did not violate any laws. So we started in Canada and building a global platform right out of Canada.
Good to see you, sir. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank
you.
An
interesting story. Glad we had you on the program today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed.